time is 10:31. Thank you for joining us. Today's Civilian Review Board public meeting. My name is Sam Harold, and I'm the chair of the CRB. As a note, the meeting is open for the public to attend and is being recorded through Zoom. Zoom has been set up for video recording purposes only and is not an option for public participation at this time. If anyone needs a transcript of this meeting, please reach out to OPAT staff at opatboards@boston.gov. Public comment will not be held during this meeting. You are welcome to submit any comments that you have to previous email, opatboards@boston.gov, and they will be acknowledged at the next OPAT Commission community meeting. So I'm now going to take attendance of all the CRB members who are present for this meeting. When you hear your name, please audibly acknowledge that you are present. Samuel Harold, I'm here. Amari Perez.
Here.
Bernard Fitzgerald.
Present.
Diafor Florissant.
Default.
Joshua Dancock.
Present.
Natalie Rithers. Peter Alvarez. Not here. Reginald Smalls.
Here.
Tanisha De Leon.
Here.
Great. There's apparently an attendance form. I don't have it, I don't think, in front of me, but is it page 6? No. Oh, no, I think that's the voting sheet.
Yes, a voting sheet.
Yeah. So I notated in my notes here.
Thank you.
So we're gonna let's change the slide to agenda slide. Okay. This morning we will run through the agenda that you can see on the screen. Each member has a copy of the agenda in their binder. And so do we want to do the welcoming introductory remarks, Mr. Director, before?
No, we can skip that. So.
Okay. So at this point, we're going to review meeting minutes from the September 11th, 2025 meeting. They should be a copy of the meeting notes. They look like a lot of the other pieces of paper. But they say September 11th at the top.
Mine are after number 4.
If we want to take about 3 to 5 minutes to read through them, if there are any corrections, please notate them.
So this is the
executive
session
public
meeting
session.
minutes, or this is the public session? Public.
Public session.
My bad.
Yep. Tab 2.
Oh, I see.
Apple's the best.
Here I move to adopt with one small amendment, namely that Amari's first name is misspelled on the recorded line. I think there needs to be a U after the A. Names are important.
On the members absent.
Correct. But with that change, I move to adopt.
Before we adopt, does anybody else see anything that requires Nothing? Okay. I second that motion. Can we do a roll call vote? I to adopt the minutes, with the small change that, well, medium change that Amari's name is spelled for the record. I vote aye. Amari, Perez?
Aye.
Aye.
Or Josh?
Aye.
Aye. So, the motion is allowed. The minutes, with the addition of, the correction, of Amari's name applied. Okay. At this point, we'll move on to the executive director's report, the chair.
No,
Okay, we can go now.
yes.
Okay, we'll move to the executive director's report. The chair acknowledges executive director Avandro Carvalho to present this report of the CRB.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome everyone. I'm Avandro Carvalho. I have the privilege of being the executive director of OPAT, Office of Police Accountability and Transparency. I welcome members of the CRB back for the fourth meeting of the year. We haven't had to cancel any meeting this year. We have a quorum. We have 6 members today, so obviously we need everybody to vote in a particular way in order to make a decision that you all know. So I want to kind of just note that. But I'm super excited that we are able to execute all of our meetings. And I want to welcome members of the public that are present with us today, as well as those that are watching via Zoom and may see this later on. Before I begin today, I'd like to ask for a brief moment of silence in honor of a great man, Judge Leslie Harris, who passed away recently. As you all know, Judge Harris was a pillar in the community of the city of Boston. In fact, particularly at OPAT, was the founding chair of the Internal Affairs Oversight Panel, the IOP panel. A great man. In fact, the Boston Globe, I'm sure you've seen many honors in articles written about him. But I know what Boston Globe said recently, and that he was one of the greatest advocates for young people the city has ever seen. He worked as a high school teacher, a probation officer before becoming a public defender, and later a juvenile court judge. And I would say personally, we miss him. He was a mentor of mine and many others in the city, and may he rest in peace. Thank you, thank you. And with that, I got a few things I'd like to discuss. First and foremost, super excited that we were able to release our annual report last month. Obviously, you all have it, and it's on our website for members of the public that want to see it. And just yesterday, actually, I saw one of the board members, Reggie Smalls, at one of the meetings, local meetings at Mayor's Interfaith Community, where I presented some of the findings of, highlights of the annual report. One of the things that I ask all of you, if you have, audiences that, whether it's in your capacity, official capacity in terms of your jobs or other community organizations that you think I could benefit from going before them and telling them about the work we're doing, happy to entertain those. And that's sort of what I'm doing going into the end of the year, is just kind of taking the show on the road. I'll be going on some radio shows, local radio shows, going on some other meetings in the community too. So I'm excited. Obviously, this is my first annual report. I won't go into details of it again, but it's on the website for members of the public to see it. Obviously, you can come here as well and get a copy. One of the things that I always start with, since I started a year and a half, perhaps more than that now, since May of 2024, is building capacity. I always say, I'm excited that we have new team members. I'm excited that we're doing this and that. And I'm super excited again, particularly at this time, because we have 3 new members of our team. We've been small, but mighty over the past several months. But I'm excited as we close the year to have some new people, much needed help over the past couple of weeks. Starting with up here, Corey is our new community engagement person. A community engagement specialist. And Corey, if you wanted to say hi to the people.
Hello, Corey Jordan, community engagement specialist here.
Thank you. Corey brings a lot of experience, particularly in community engagement. He worked on Beacon Hill as at State Rep Tyler's Tyler's office, legislative affairs, constituent engagement, things like that. So I'm super excited to have him. He's been here for 2 weeks now. Four, thank you. He's hit the ground running. Really excited to have him on board. Additionally, we have 2 new investigators. As you know, we have been functioning with only one investigator, albeit the best investigator, Diana, for the past several months. I will say, in case I didn't say last time, is that Diana is now a senior investigator. She was promoted a month ago, if not longer. Yeah, but she's been a senior investigator for a very long time, informally, if you will. But wanted to congratulate her, particularly because she's been the one pushing all the cases that we've had going through for the past several months. And then I want to welcome 2 new members of the investigative team. Start with my right over here, Parker Bowman, who's coming from BPD's operations, Boston Police Department's operation division, where he worked on missing persons and stolen vehicle cases. I believe he has a master's in investigation. I'll let him say hello briefly.
Sure. So, good morning, everyone. Parker Bauman, I'm a new investigator here. Basically, my background just in criminal investigations, investigative services, bachelor's and master's in both. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. And Parker and Mary Kate started earlier this week or last week? Last week. So super excited to have them on board. Mary Kate, it comes in with significant experience in investigative work, particularly at DHS, Department of Homeland Security, a federal employee for 17 years. And again, super excited to have her on board, and I'll let her say hi as well.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for welcoming us. Happy to be here. My name is Mary Kate O'Brien. Like the director said, I've had many years of government service as an investigator, and I'm happy to be with OPAT.
Thank you. And so, and we do have one more individual started on Monday. I won't say the person's name just now, so I don't jinx the process. But we have a new director of finance administration that will start on Monday. And hopefully as the new year turns, we'll have a couple of more additional people as well. So super excited to have people, fill in the spaces that are in these big roles at OPAT. A couple more things, and then I'll close out and I'll give the space back to Mr. Chairman to the great work that we have ahead of us. Just want to alert to the public and to the members that I continue to do the bi-weekly executive director office coffee hours in various parts of the city. Just last week, 2 weeks ago, we were in South Boston, over there at a coffee shop. This week, tomorrow, on the 14th, we're going to East Boston, which is a neighborhood that we haven't been to. But I will say I'm very proud that I think, the annual report talks about this, but we've done at least, I think, 10 to 15 of these over the past several months throughout the city of Boston, Georgia, Roxbury, Maryland, West Roxbury, JP, and so on, right? South End. And so these are just spaces for us to continue to engage the community, which again, this has been one of the critical things that we sort of keep amplifying, is to make sure that we are part of the community and see. The other thing in the same vein that I'd like to mention is that this past early this month, first Wednesday of the month of November, we had our first open door days, which was led by Corey here. And that's another initiative that we have every month. The next one is December 3rd. It'll be, again, very first Monday of the month from 3:30 to 5:30. And this is an occasion where we every month open up our office to the members of the public. We typically will do a small presentation about some of the work that we've been doing, and meet the staff and things like that. So that's some core community engagement things that we've been doing that I wanted to highlight. And also our social media, finally, our social media has been ramping up, particularly since Corey started. We have an Instagram page, we have a Facebook page, and LinkedIn, and I believe we have a Twitter account or X account, I guess as we call it now. The last thing I'll say, thanks again for indulging me briefly. The last thing I'll say before I pass the word is that, as you all know, obviously we have 2 boards that function, including this one, the CRB, is the Internal Affairs Oversight Panel, IOP board, which I just wanted to update you now that board earlier last month, October 6th, sent a letter to to Commissioner Cox, essentially trying to, expand their authority that they already have. Essentially, as you know, that team primarily takes in complaints, not complaints, but appeals from BPD, from the Internal Affairs Oversight, Internal Affairs, IID. And one of the things that's built into our ordinance is that there's certain sort of offenses that are supposed to be sent to us to that board automatically. That is, as soon as they happen and the investigation is completed, they need to send to us to be sent to IOP, but they have not been sent. So the letter was just encouraging and recommending that those automatic appeals start to come in. And those, automatic appeals include stuff like use of force cases, particularly those that are serious, that sometimes even result in death, allegations of excessive use of force, allegations of unlawful arrest, and so on. So these again are detailed in our ordinance. But super proud, obviously the CRB subcommittee has been doing amazing work in terms of this space, but just wanted to highlight that the other board is also stepping up in terms of the work in this space. So that's the last thing I wanted to say. And obviously again, super excited that obviously as we come into the end of the year, as we go into the holiday season, Thanksgiving, I think next week, excuse me, that we're able to bring this panel one more time, the board one more time to adjudicate some cases and talk about some great work that you all are doing. So thanks again, and I'll pass the word back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Director Carvalho. Does the board have any questions about the report?
Of course I do. Thank you so much, Executive Director. And thanks for sharing with us the letter from.
Yeah, you should have the letter in
Yeah,
the bond.
it's in 3C. I'm just curious, was there discussion, and just to say, from my personal perspective, it makes sense to have the IOP remind the BPD commissioner of their obligations under the ordinance. Was there discussion that IOP about looking at past cases that fit into this? Because the request is to have BPD begin referring cases sort of moving forward.
Yes, there wasn't a great question. There wasn't. The short answer is no. There was no discussion about that. I think though the way that perhaps you can take up on that is on the random appeals. To sort of look back on random cases, right? That's another area that has sort of been dormant as well. Part of it is obviously highlighting the fact that the manpower is limited, right? So we don't want to overload the cases come.
Yeah.
But I think going forward it was a good start. But I think the random appeals, which just means give us a random sample. I think that's the idea, hopefully to try to go toward the past some of the cases. So, but there wasn't a lot of discussion in that space.
And then my second and final question,
Sure.
I assure you, is whether there's been a response from the commissioner to this letter from IOP or from the CRB's letter from September 11th.
There isn't a response currently, but my understanding that the response is forthcoming. That's the most I can do. But there isn't. We haven't received a response just yet.
I hope the commission, I think, meets regularly with the OPAT commission, I think, meets regularly with BPD commissioners. So I would assume these things are under discussion there.
They are.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions regarding the director's report? Okay. Our next order of business is to discuss matters related to policy subcommittee meeting held on October 22nd, 2025. And I would turn you to, in my binder, it's under A. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have three. But it's a draft letter about decoupling. This is a fun word. I like it. I think of the Boston Police Department from federal law enforcement activities. And I think, Josh and Amari both worked on this letter. A lot of this is Josh had put together a pretty strong draft and we were able to sort of outline and pare down, maybe focus it a little bit, but largely, I think maybe Josh would disagree with me. It's in the spirit of what you submitted.
Yes,
And I think the big thing that we're concerned about as a board or as the subcommittee, and we want to get input from the board, is this idea that the Boston Police Department is sharing and collaborating with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Department of Homeland Security, and ICE. And we know that we've all been, if you've been watching the news, that the Boston City Administration, Michelle Wu, has come out strongly against this ICE, this now new era of ICE enforcement, and that we aren't going to be working to remove people at Boston Police Department officers. She's not supporting that they remove residents, regardless of, I think, what their current immigration status is. And I kind of just want for us to think about this first part of the letter. There's two parts, but I think it makes sense to maybe talk about what do you think? You think we should talk about the first part and then maybe talk about the second part? Yeah.
As well, there was an item on the agenda, we skipped it. I skipped it on purpose, really because it's connected to this. Is because perhaps you can go back briefly. So as you discussed that, just know that as you discussed the letter, just know that OPAT itself has been trying to, and is now occupying a space in this, particularly around what the, with ICE, as you said, right? Yeah, so now currently, before, if you will, our intake form did not have this, but currently, if you go on our website, which members of the public also have access to, is that now we're trying to figure out if ICE is, involved, particularly if they're tied with BPD. As I walk up to the screen here, this is again the typical intake form that we have there, but this section is added where you see was the police department, BPD, Boston Police Department involved in the system? Yes or no? Was ICE involved? Yes. So we are trying to track information. So it goes to the core of that letter too. So what do we do? What can we do? Collecting data and making sure again. And obviously the letter talks about the Trust Act and specifically, which is prohibits BPD from enforcing, immigration laws. So this will allow us on our end to do some of that work as well. Just wanted to flag that for the team, as you discussed in the letter. Okay, that's already taken place, as I mentioned, it's on the website. Okay, just wanted to flag.
can I, thanks so much. I think that's appropriate and appreciate. I was wondering why this was in there, but now that makes sense.
Yes.
Just want to maybe suggest that sometimes it's not just ICE that are involved in federal policing efforts that are immigration related. That sometimes it's the FBI, sometimes it's HSI, sometimes it's other Department of Homeland Security. In some places, it's the Coast Guard. The really a large number of agencies have been incorporated. So you may want to just want to suggest expanding that a little bit, ICE or other federal agencies or something. And then people might not know, and so maybe adding an "I don't know" as a possible answer.
I see.
But just small suggestions for you to take or leave.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That's how. Yeah. No.
Okay. No, that was super interesting, and I think that is the idea to sort of try and collect information about what's been going on, what the complaints that we're getting, who the parties involved are. And I appreciate Josh's suggestion, at least as far as yes, no, maybe an I don't know, because a lot of times they don't, or we don't. So this letter is, for whatever reason, the formatting is a little bit longer than or like, if there are 8 breaks. So maybe it makes sense for all of us to just read through the letter all at once, and then if you guys have thoughts, we can kind of take it one at a time. I don't want to spend too much time because there's a lot of business that we have to do involving some of our investigations. But I do want to take a minute for us all to read this and consider it.
Just in case they enter executive session, I'm running to the restroom.
Sure.
If they enter executive session, can you just hit the stop recording button?
If you're ready to discuss. Otherwise, we don't know.
All right, we're all ready to discuss. So I'm wondering, what the best way to do this is, and I'm thinking that maybe we kind of just go down the line. Amari, do you have any thoughts about the letter as drafted? Anything that you would change? Any concerns? Any
I know that,
want to add?
yeah, I know that when, we were going over it.
Yeah.
So policy, committee.
Yeah.
We were having some difficulty with language, and I'm not sure. Anybody would say about that. There was part of in, second page, about collection and sharing with, different agencies.
Yeah.
And, the thoughts behind that, like whether or not it's appropriate to add, all of the other agencies. Yeah. And that's something that we wanted to talk about, to bring it to the inside of board.
Why are you asking if it's appropriate, meaning?
Because
Yeah, what was our concern in the subcommittee, if we
We
could
were-
share it?
yeah, we were talking about, we were focused on the information sharing with ICE, but also the fact that some information is necessary, like is fundamental to share with federal agencies. So I'm not sure. The problem I had was the wording of said agencies, like whether or not we completely cut off, or whether we're suggesting to completely cut off communication between agencies, or is it just ICE? That's just my main concern of the wording.
And if I may, I think that part of, because I remember that conversation, Mari, and I think what we, at least in part, agreed to was to talk about the sharing be restricted to those who have not committed a crime. So if they are not being investigated, then they shouldn't be sharing that information. Because I agree that in order to, if we want to have effective law enforcement, we have to also ensure that there is some communication. But at the same time, we want to protect people who aren't being charged with a crime. So I don't know if anybody has any thoughts about it. Yeah.
I actually had the same thought,
Sure.
around, just like, I think this is a really amazing, I wouldn't even say a start, because this is pretty much finished, but just some more specific language around, like, I think this can be drawn out a little bit more about, like, we're asking for information to be shared, for those who essentially have committed a crime versus haven't, but even then, there are still questions around types of crimes, I think.
What's an investigation?
What's in it? Yeah. So I have questions about the more of the specific things. And I think to your point, it might go under the second page, section 1, more specifically like risks, converting ordinary residents' data into data points within the federal system.
Yeah.
And kind of fleshing out what you guys mean by that. But I think this is very strong, and really good work.
Okay, so your thought is that you would want to extend maybe, or at least flesh out this converting ordinary residents into data points.
Yeah.
I kind of agree in some respects. There is like almost the flair of the language is like, doesn't necessarily maybe capture exactly what we want to happen.
Yeah.
But I think part of the struggle that we are dealing with is that we don't really know
Yeah.
how, like, there's this opaqueness, this black box
Yeah.
system that, like, we don't really understand how the information sharing works.
Mhm.
And I know Josh as indicated in the meeting we had last time was, there's also informal information sharing that occurs between different officers from different. So a police officer might have a buddy who works at ICE, and they might have a buddy that works at DHS, and like there's that informal, like, how do they know about court dates,
Mhm, mhm.
court officers? Somehow they find out, especially in like the juvenile court where records are sealed.
Yeah.
So there is some sharing that's going on that we're not aware of, and maybe we can't be. Like, we could express that we don't like that, but we also might not be able to do very much about the informal sharing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Josh, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, I think we're, as Boston residents, really lucky to be in a place that has the Boston Trust Act in place.
Yeah.
As a guiding document, not in my role here, but I did put in a public records request to BPD asking about their policies, sort of as a basis for this letter.
Did you ever get a response?
Yes, they sent the Boston Trust Act.
Mm,
So for me, this is a chance to just make sure that the letter and spirit of the Boston Trust Act is being considered sort of one step down within BPD policies and practice. And so that's sort of the spirit that this letter is trying to capture. And the first part around surveillance and information gathering pre-arrest, with reference to the BRIC, the Boston Regional Intelligence Center, that includes members of federal agencies, that there is real concern that information that flows into the BRIC can make its way to those federal agencies and have implications for individuals, immigration implications for individuals. And then the second piece is just a broader question of, what do we want our municipal police, what do we want our message as CRB members who have some level of oversight is really the word, but we have the investment in how police interact with our communities. We have an opportunity to say, as civilians, as members of the community, that we have these concerns, because what's happening in the federal level is not normal, and we risk, by not saying anything, we risk sort of allowing business as usual within police departments and BPD. Collaboration with the federal agencies and with ICE was something that was very strong, and whether that's something that we want to make sure that they're aware that they have some concerns about. So that's the overall gist.
So just kind of turning back to Nisha's concerns, like knowing, I guess my thought is that like there's two things that could happen. We can kind of authorize as a group that this letter is good to go, or we can think about edits. The problem that I'm wondering, and I think is important, is that I want to keep this meeting kind of focused on the cases that we need to investigate, because I think there's some important things that we need to talk about regarding those today. So if we don't approve this letter as is, I think we're kind of back.
It'll be back to the subcommittee or back to some group and then push to the next meeting, which is, I don't remember when.
Yeah, I don't remember when. So I guess, like, are you comfortable with the letter as is, or would you rather us? Like, I guess that's my question to you before, and I'm sure other people have thoughts too. So
personally, for me, after hearing everything, immediately my question was like, so can we ask about understanding like what this formal information is around like sharing? But if the answer is the Boston Trust Act,
That's all they sent.
like that, that leaves a lot of gray space and gray area. So, I would want to push the letter forward, but I'm also like, can we somehow flag that like there's a lot of gray area, and as a result, some folks can possibly get, depenalized. So yeah, I think the content of the letter is good, but I feel like I'd be interested to hear from folks about like even if it's a paragraph or something small to be added, more specifically about this gray area and the risk of converting ordinary residents into data points. Kind of drawing that out.
Jeff, I mean, to Jeff,
Yeah.
as well, I think, it's one thing for Josh to ask as an individual.
Sure.
To get a document, which I guess is in the trust act, but it's another thing for the board to ask. Officially, what is the gray area? Because it's
Yeah.
just the trust act.
Yeah,
The other thing that we could potentially do too, is ask for someone that can explain, so you can ask questions about what the gap is or isn't, what's the sharing, so.
I like that idea.
That's another sort of option there, so you're not sort of, obviously, well, we land. Looking to have an official, hopefully a response, right, this is how, this is versus, private citizen doing a request, it's a lot different.
Could we do a both and, like send a letter and ask somebody to come? Or is it more so like we will?
Yeah, so, those are two separate things, but I would just want on top of sort of like where you were confusion about, is this what was this the official policy is, that's sort of, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you could officially ask in the letter, maybe they'll confirm it is the trust act, right? Or maybe it's something else, right? So then it's clearer in terms of what that process is. But just wanted to add that.
Like the idea, send letter as is and also ask for a meeting. All they can say is no.
How would we go about asking for a meeting?
And add a sentence at the end.
I was gonna say, yeah.
We respectfully request an opportunity to discuss this and our September 11th letter, or not, with you or senior staff with specific information on the subject.
She has it again. No.
No,
Maybe you can do it in line edits again.
I'm here for it.
Are you sure? I feel so
I'll
bad.
caution the edits on the spot though.
Yeah.
You can't get muddy.
Yeah,
I'd rather, honestly, I'd rather.
yeah, it's one sentence. It's just
Then how
asking,
you-
it's just asking for a meeting with, that's the only addition.
It didn't go well last time.
And we did all right last session with this, I thought, but and we respectfully request an opportunity to discuss this and our September 11th, 2025 letter with you or senior staff.
and before we add that, I just want to ask Bernard what your thoughts are, because I know that,
I would rather take time to read the Boston Trust Act. I'm not that familiar with it. And hold off on the letter until the next meeting. I, in my capacity as a probation officer, I did a lot of work
totally,
with the people at Burke, and I see it mentioned all the time here. And I kind of know how they operate, and I think it's an issue we have to talk about, but I'd like to spend a little more time on it.
Well, given that there's 6 of us and we would need all 6 to vote in favor, I think there's our answer.
so why don't we add that line? And then, we can, table this, I guess, for the next meeting. Although I will caution you, there'll be a subcommittee meeting between now and then. So there might be more fun to go around. Okay. So,
Thanks, Bernard, here.
I appreciate it, Bernard. That's what I want everybody to feel like. And I think that your perspective is invaluable. Okay. So, I'm just gonna go back to the run of a show here.
Do we need to vote on that?
Do we want to put that on the agenda for the next meeting? Okay. I'll move to have, the, letter discussing. Somebody else.
I make a motion that we table the letter, dissemination until next,
The vote,
the vote for the letter.
understood. I second, does anybody want to second that motion?
I'll second.
Now I'm gonna do a roll call vote. Amari Perez. Yes or no?
Yes.
Bernard Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Reginald.
Yes.
Nisha. And I also vote yes. So that'll be motion, allowed.
Hesitation.
My hesitation was just wondering if people do in their personal reading of the letter, have proposed edits to maybe share that with OPAT staff. I know for public meeting reasons, we can't discuss that, but, it may be helpful to come to the next meeting with a
Prepared.
sort of prepared, knowing what other people,
That's the
if to the extent that that's allowed under. That was just a suggestion. To add on, not to change the vote, but to add. Maybe with a 1 week advance notice or something.
Do we wanna move for that?
I would move that, if anyone has, edits that they proposed edits to the letter, that they submit those to OPAT staff a week before our next meeting. And that OPAT staff individually share that with us so that we can sort of come to the meeting ready to discuss them.
Second.
I'll do a roll call vote. Amari. Bernard.
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Denisha. Sam also, yes. Okay, so 2 motions allowed. Notes. Here. Okay. Okay, so our next agenda item is the complaint summary and disposition. CRB will review the cases listed on the agenda in an executive session. Would anyone like to make a motion to enter executive session? Motion. Do we have a,
I second.
and, I'll take a roll call vote. Amari.
Yes.
Bernard.
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Reggie. faster way to write this. Yeah. Good idea. You say not sus. I know, I can change it later, but I just have to. 6-0. But then isn't there another NS? No? Okay. Probably smarter. Where they pay the big bucks. What? You say you could get paid bigger bucks? I don't think so. We can like look it up later. Okay, so we have 511. 511 had 3 officers. We had Carmen Sari Pedron. Apologize if I'm mispronouncing the name. Officer Patrick Welch and Officer Antonio Cody Thomas. This was regarding the nighttime incident. So there are 3 allegations.
How many officers?
No, there's just 1 allegation for each of the officers, and it's neglect of duty. And I'm going to vote first. Sustained. Amari Perez.
Sustained. Are we opening the?
Is it all officers or is it one specific?
All officers
And there was some additional language, I think.
with the oral reprimand, but I think we have to vote on the sustained
Oh, okay. You're right. Thank you. Sorry.
procedural thing. Mr. Fitzgerald,
Sustained.
Mr. Dankoff,
Sustained.
Mr. Small,
Sustained.
Ms. De Leon, sustained. All right, that's,
And Mr. Chair, to all officers, who the officers.
I did, but I'm happy to do it again. Carmen Saray Pedron, Patrick Welch, and Antonio Cody Thomas. And, oh, there's a voting option key up there. And do we have the recommended discipline on this sheet? Doesn't look like there is. Where would you like me to write the recommended discipline?
In the top section.
Should we vote on that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna, okay, 6-0. Okay. So on the recommended discipline, we are recommending, or I'm recommending oral reprimand. Mr. Amari Perez.
Agreed. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Fitzgerald,
Yes, agreed.
Mr.
Agreed.
Dankoff,
Oral
Mr. Small,
Agreed.
Ms. De Leon.
There was one other thing that potentially we talked about, sort of explaining ourselves in the
So, yeah, so talking about the
sort of our
rationale,
reasoning.
I was speaking with the
OPAT staff.
OPAT staff about what to write in their official report, and I think that they're going to take our suggestion.
Okay, great.
Okay.
You clarify it again.
You want me to clarify?
No, not in there.
I will. Yes. Okay. All right. So that concludes the reports that we were doing today. And we'll go back. So the CRB has no more cases before today, so we will move on to other business. Does anyone have additional business or an outstanding question you might like to ask?
No, not at all.
No.
I'm looking at Bernie.
No, yeah, one thing that bugged me a little bit was, and 2 of the witnesses used the term.
Reminder that we're on the record.
Oh, okay, well,
But I take your, I also noticed,
Is that term offensive?
yes,
I think for clarifying.
it's very offensive. Did you, Have anything you'd like to say, Mr. Perez?
No.
You're not in trouble.
No, I just didn't hear what you said.
Oh, okay. We can discuss it after the meeting closes. Is there anything else? Okay. Is there a motion potentially for the CRB to adjourn until our next meeting? Do we have a next meeting on the books?
Yes.
It's January.
Yeah, please.
What is it?
But the meeting schedule should be inside your last task in your binder.
I have the 8.
January.
Anyway,
Okay.
Oh, January 8th. Great. Okay. So, does anyone have a motion to adjourn? Yeah.
I make a motion that we adjourn our meeting for today.
Does anybody second that motion?
okay.
Now we'll do a roll call vote. This is serious business.
Yes.
Mr. Perez.
No,
No, it's a yes, it's yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald,
I concur.
Mr. Dankoff,
Yes.
Mr. Small,
Yes.
Ms. De Leon,
Yes.
and I, Sam Harold, say yes. Thank you all.
327.
The meeting is now adjourned. It is 3:27.
We're so.
Somebody give my man some food.
Said a roll call.